Hi everybody. In this video, we are going to talk about the 6 mistakes that most B2B sales and marketing professionals make. Now, typically in a sales and marketing career, you start off in sales. You are focused on a particular geography, and within that geography, you've got a number of customers, a number of accounts, and you are basically trying to achieve your sales targets with that particular scope of work. All right. The number one mistake that people make is that most of them are only talking to procurement, purchase. And purchase managers are people who are the buying agents in any B2B institutional sales setup. And procurement managers tend to be the most price sensitive people in the company. And therefore, it's the joke that we have about purchase is that if you offer them a quote of $100, they start with $50. You give them a quote of $50, they will start with $20. You give them something free, and they will say, "What else are you giving me complimentary in return?" All right. So, number one mistake: purchase. There are users in the client account. There are technical buyers, specifiers in the client account. Sitting as the boss of all of these people is a economic buyer or the king, who's usually a business head, a president of a company, not the CFO, but somebody from whose budget this whole thing comes. All right. And therefore, okay, one of the mistakes is that if you're stuck with purchase, you don't get too much price for the products, so therefore you don't make too much gross margin, and many times you have no assurance of getting business because there's this, it's a very competitive environment. Purchase themselves come into the buying cycle a little late, and it becomes a very difficult sell. This becomes a little frustrating for a lot of salespeople. The second mistake that we have seen salespeople make is that they are only servicing demand, they are not creating demand. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say you are walking along the road, you feel thirsty, you decide to buy a bottle of, have a Coke, and you walk into a Kirana store, ask for a bottle of Coke. The guy, charges you 20 rupees or so for the drink, and he's made a sale. The Kirana store owner has made a sale. Question is, has the Kirana store owner serviced demand or created demand? He's only serviced demand. The demand was already there. You were already thirsty before you walked into the store. You're driving along a road, you have a couple of credit cards which are maxed out. You see an ad for Virat Kohli HSBC credit cards, and you decide to pick up a credit card. You call up the HSBC call center. They send a guy across who fills up a form. And your card comes in the mail a week later. Has the salesperson service demand or created demand? Many times he's only service demand, right? The demand was already there. It was your own buying situation that created the demand. It was the advertising, the hoarding, the TV ad that you saw of Virat Kohli that created the demand, and the sales guy only serviced the demand. So servicing demand doesn't get you too much business. It's a very competitive scenario. It's a very high pressure scenario. It is when we start creating demand, and that's what we're going to look at in this particular full course, is how does one go about creating demand for our services. That's okay, the number two mistake. The number three mistake is people do spray and pray. Spray and pray is the way you applied on campus for a job. You sprayed your biodata on everybody and prayed that somebody listened to your sales pitch and shortlisted it. So spray and pray mistake is that irrespective of which industry, right now we are talking to a industrial solutions company which services, which has these electronic equipment which is sold to aerospace, defense, oil companies, automobile companies, process oriented companies. Yeah. The point is, spray and pray is that we've seen their salespeople literally make the same sales pitch, irrespective of who is out there, from which industry. Same sales pitch to a user, a procurement buyer, or a king, an economic buyer, or a technical specifier. It can't be the same. And spray and pray is what our good friends in insurance companies do when they call you up on your mobile, and that has a very very low conversion ratio. Number three mistake. Number four mistake: buffet counter. Uh, when you go to a JW Marriott and you see a person standing behind the buffet counter, what are they doing? So these are my list of products that I have in the company. Which one do you want? That is buffet counter selling. We also call it menu card selling. It's what you experience when you go to an Udupi restaurant. Now, real selling is that you don't present your entire range of products, because not all of those products will be relevant for that particular customer, based on the customer's business challenges, his pain points, stuff like that. So buffet counter only confuses the customer. And a confused mind says no. There's this very wrong saying in sales, which is that if you can't convince them, confuse them. We completely disagree with that statement because a confused mind says no. So buffet counter is not to be done. We work with a handful of products, which we do after we analyze the requirements of our target companies. Number five mistake that we make is people talk only about the product, not about what the product can do for you. Right now, what's the difference? The difference is, let's say I'm selling you a car. Now, if I were to talk about the product, what do I talk about? I talk about the fact that it's got a 100 bhp engine, it's got an aluminum engine, it's got a 8-point multi-point carburetor, okay, system, fuel injection system, blah blah blah. Okay, this is what the product contains. What can the product do for you? Well, benefits. 0 to 100 in 3.4 seconds is a benefit. That's fine. But it will take you, let's say fuel efficiency is a benefit. If I had to customize this as an impact, and let's say I'm talking to a large, let's say an Ola or a Meru, I would say, okay, for every car that gets driven about 200 kilometers a day, you can save about 6,000 rupees per month in fuel bills. That is the difference between talking about the product to what the product can do, the impact of the product on the customer. I sell you a product which will save you installation time. This will result in your factory starting off earlier. This is the number five mistake that people make, is that they only talk about the product. And and if you do all of these five mistakes, the sixth mistake automatically happens. You end up becoming a beggar, and you're desperate for orders. You are running around helter skelter at the end of every month trying to book book orders. And this is the number one. Okay, this is the list of mistakes that people make. So in the rest of this B2B sales camp course, we're going to talk about a sales process that avoids these mistakes and produces consistent level growth. How can we make a customized sales pitch where we are creating demand, where we are talking to senior people in the company, and we build long-term partnerships with our client organizations? I will see you in the next video. Thank you.